spoilers for all of Cyberpunk Edgerunners.
Cyberpunk Edgerunners is home to many great and memorable characters, but one of my favorite characters is Adam Smasher and his specific portrayal within Cyberpunk Edgerunners. And what's interesting about that statement is the fact that Adam Smasher only has like 4 minutes of screen time within the show. While Adam Smasher is the final nail in the coffin for the story of David Martinez, in the story of Adam Smasher, David might as well be an ant that Adam stepped on a random day, in a random summer, in a random year. Adam Smasher might have only been in Cyberpunk Edgerunners for the final episode of the series, but in that time, he plays a crucial role in cementing and exploring the foundational themes of the story, as well as generally being the most memorable antagonist the story has to offer. Someone who knows he's the final villain of the story and relishes in that opportunity. I would say there are two things that make Adam Smasher such a defined and enjoyable presence within Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Number one is the general framing of Adam Smasher within the visual storytelling medium of animation, and number two is the purpose the character serves within the narrative.
You're packing some pretty heavy artillery for your size, boy.
Adam Smasher, known as the militaristic boogeyman of the cyberpunk universe, is somebody that stands at the top as far as cyberware goes. He is the only known person to get that much cyberware without going cyber psycho, and as a result, on top of just being stronger than most people would be in this universe because of the amount of cyberware he has, he stands over people literally in his status as a person turned killing machine. What few shots of Adam Smasher we get directly go out of their way to emphasize either his size, his stature, or the way that he towers over characters in a sort of metaphorical sense. Like this shot where David and Adam Smasher first meet. When it's shown from David's perspective, he is directly below Adam Smasher, and when it's shown from Adam Smasher's perspective, he's essentially looking down on David. Despite the scene literally right before this, utilizing Hiroyuki Imaishi's iconic standoff pose to frame David and Adam Smasher in a shot, the narrative and visual emphasis directly afterwards seems to be wholly trained on presenting Adam as being above David in some way. His reintroduction into the final fight afterwards, where he kills Rebecca, has him falling directly from above, which not only has the characters, again, looking up at him as if Adam Smasher stands above them, but this act of falling from such a big height and not taking damage is a further example of not only Adam Smasher's strength, but superiority over the cast. In fact, what's really interesting to me about how Adam Smasher is portrayed within Cyberpunk Edgerunners is that the only time we see Adam Smasher without this approach to perspective being used is when he's being introduced in the office by an Arasaka employee, because who else in the world would be bigger than Adam Smasher than the mega corporation that created him?
Devistan?
A rudimentary implant.
I'm the one you're after, ain't I?
All the same meat to me. I'll slaughter each and every one of you.
So, if the way that Adam Smasher acts as this unbeatable wall of a final boss for the main characters of Edgerunners doesn't establish him as being superior to everyone in Night City, then the way that he demeans David and calls his signature Sandevistan a rudimentary implant is indication enough that he is operating on a whole different level entirely. I believe that Adam Smasher is meant to represent the end point of Night City as a concept and a bad ending for David that he avoided by essentially choosing to go out in a blaze of glory instead. If David had agreed to become a guinea pig for cyberware and Arasaka's interests, the kind of life he'd be living wouldn't be a life at all. Despite being shown as this pinnacle of strength and opportunity that a technological future can offer, Adam Smasher, the person, ultimately no longer exists. He has no face, he has no personality, he has no individuality, and he has no reason to exist other than what's offered to him by his handlers. There is ultimately no difference between Adam Smasher and the metal larger than his body that he uses to kill people. He might as well have been turned into a gun that the corporations of Night City wield themselves.
You think you're special because you're scrappy? Don't make me laugh.
The way that Adam Smasher is presented within Cyberpunk Edgerunners is, I would say, ultimately meant to represent the oppressiveness and overwhelming absoluteness of the system, as well as the nature of what it means to stand against said system. There's two ways to live your life within Night City, and you can only choose one. You can be a corporate suck-up and live a life of luxury at the cost of having a hand shoved up your ass puppeting you around every day, or you can try and fight back against the system at the cost of the whole world turning against you because you didn't fall in line. At the end of the day, death meets you along both paths. Would you rather do what you're told if it means you can live longer, even though you might not be living a life you want to live at all? Or would you rather have lived how you wanted to with no regrets, even going to an early grave? The fact that Adam Smasher is functionally immortal, basically invulnerable, and has more opportunities to find financial success than David ever could have had, that doesn't change the fact Adam Smasher has condemned himself to living on an Arasaka leash for the rest of his life. David hasn't lived as much as Adam has, nor will he have ever achieved as much as Adam has. That said, he lived more than Adam ever will, because beneath all the chrome that David got, there's still a person fighting for the people around him.